Hey everyone, you've already seen a replay of the Magnu-S or Tirpitz played by Mirage 357, but at the defensive line he was on the north end of it, whereas Sebazul11 here, who you've probably seen a number of replays already, he is on the south end of the defensive line, and it is important to show across the board as many perspectives to get the full picture. Now his damage, as you've probably already seen, isn't that impressive for this scenario, but that doesn't make his replay any less important, as the position he occupies in the defensive line is actually a very important one. Now currently it's the first group of spawns, which I believe just ended. Now the second stage with Tier 8 ships coming out of the portal. Now what you'll see Seb doing here, I'm not entirely sure if it's on purpose, but if you remember what I said in previous replays, we are trying to keep our tier 3 low tier allies alive, and if this was on purpose, this is a good way to distract these ships from targeting the low tier allies, and he may or may not be trying to get in position to help heal them and keep them alive as well. I believe he might have been aiming to get on the opposite end of the group that Mirage was on. Although if that's what he was doing, he might have been a little distracted. But it certainly looks like that may have been his what he was trying to do. Now that was the end of the second stage of spawns, the tier 8 ships coming out of the portal. Now is the ships spawning right behind the group ahead of the portal, which is the third stage. Now if you saw, Seb just activated his shield. You get 9 of them, I believe, with Superintendent and Premium. So you have a lot to use up. You don't need to be afraid of using them at the beginning if you need to. Now, if you remember what I said on Vader's replay on Monday, you see there's a number of ships here, like 7 in the circle, which means everyone heals up pretty quickly. In Cobra circle, not Seb circle. So if you get it right, you don't need to have a large circle to get a really good heal going. And with Thursday's response finished a bit back, we had the 4th stage there, with the teleport spawns at the first tower. With the unfortunate circumstance of the first tower getting destroyed quick, and now Rasputin spawning after the first 2 groups. Don't forget they can spawn at the very spawn all at the same time simultaneously. And the unfortunate thing is, eventually your tier 3 allies will start to get sunk. The only one exception I noted previously, we had the Igor survive all the way till the end, and funny enough, it also got the last shot into Rasputin to sink it that game. Now with Rasputin basically taken care of, everyone is starting to head to their position on the defensive line for the 2nd tower. Remember, you need to maintain this defensive line a short distance in front of the tower to keep 5 stars. If you lose the 2nd tower, you're going to end up with 4 stars maximum. And as I said previously, Seb is occupying the south location in the line. Cobra here is drifting in the center, and as you already saw with Mirage, he was on the north end. And all the battleships need to basically stay in their spots. You can't be retreating, or the line is broken, and the enemy ships have access and can see the 2nd tower to destroy it. And priority targets are the Scarabs and the Gulls, as they typically fire at the towers more. The Vargs usually only targeting it with secondaries when they get in range. Now, if you're still doubting the importance of Seb's replay, let me show you why. See where that Scarab just spawned? Look how close it spawned to the 2nd tower. if you don't have a battleship here in this south spot, anything that spawns at this place has quick and easy access to the tower, and the second tower can get destroyed very quickly from the ships spawning here. You need a battleship here, and you see how quick the spawns are coming through. The Scarab was just sunk, and here comes a goal. More often than not, a lot of the damage that occurs to the tower is from this spot. And you see now, a Varg, a Goal, and a Scarab are all right here next to Seb. If you don't have someone in this spot, you're going to lose the tower. And it's just important to have that cruiser behind you helping to defend in this spot. So while most of the ships that you need to kill are in the middle and north side, if you don't have ships specifically here defending, you could very easily lose the second tower. Now you see Seb is low health. What you can do is you head toward the other battleship in the center and share healing circles, which will help keep each other alive. And that becomes even more effective as battleships get more damage and their healing circles expand. Now if you'll notice the difference here, Seb's circle is larger than Cobra's was earlier, but his circle only has himself and Pico in it, whereas Cobra's smaller circle earlier had 7 ships in it. And if you remember, the more friendly ships that are in your circle, the more effective and the stronger your heal is. You see Seb used a shield. Don't forget, you have lots of them, and when the time comes and you need it, you should be using it. Now one thing you might note, he's lost all his torpedo tubes, which is very aggravating when you're playing Battleship. I know, when I've played it, I've had the same thing happen, and unfortunately all too often you get all your torpedo tubes destroyed basically every game when you're playing Nightmare mode. Now if you saw there, that's Seb's and probably Cobra's circles together. And remember what I just said earlier, the more ships in the circle and sharing circles helps keep each other alive. Now, if you remember from previous replays, third stage ended when the fourth stage started with spawns at the tower, and just now, after the tower, you have the 5th stage of all types of ships, which just finished, and now it's the last stage of just goal spawning. And even during this stage, you still want your defensive line intact, as if you've lost more damage to the tower than we have here, often it's the goals that spawn on this side that finish off the tower. And if you didn't look at the cover, you'll see Seb ended with 198,000, which is typically considered low for damage. But as I emphasized, his spot and his role is actually a very important place, and one that should be kept in mind. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.